And there are still a lot of unknowns as to what this verdict means for the presidential race or how long the appeal may last as well.
That's why 9 News anchor Kyle Clark is joining us now as he gets ready for tonight's CD4 debate. Kyle, it used to be the issues would divide America: guns, immigration, abortion, things like that. But it seems like now the #1 issue that divides people is Donald Trump. How do you think this plays out politically?
Well, there certainly is no real divide within the Colorado Republican Party anymore. The Colorado Republican Party is Donald Trump's party. The allegiance is absolute, it is unquestioned, and non-believers are targeted and purged, even if they've spent decades working for the conservative cause in Colorado. The Colorado GOP sent out a response to Trump's felony conviction today. It is, no surprise, a fundraiser in which they said this is an unprecedented example of election interference and blatant disregard for the rule of law. They called the case rigged, one of Trump's favorite words. And they asked people to click here to support Trump and the Colorado GOP. I clicked, and the donations go to the Colorado GOP, not to Donald Trump in any way. What's really remarkable, Tom and Kim, is how the party has been taken over by Trump over a period of 8 years. Because 2016, it was Colorado Republicans at the Republican National Convention who led the walkout in support of Ted Cruz and in a last-ditch attempt to block Donald Trump. 8 years later, the party is his entirely. They even dropped their neutrality rules so that they can endorse in primaries. They endorse Trump over the other Republicans running against him, and they're endorsing the most Trump-friendly candidates in GOP primaries that'll happen in June.
That's why we do have an open seat coming up in Congressional District 4. Ken Buck did not want to take part in the withering blasts he was taking within the party. So tonight, coming up at 6 o'clock, you and Marshall will be hosting and I should say moderating the District 4 Republican debate. This now becomes one of those issues that the candidates will have to be talking about when you address that tonight.
Absolutely right, Tom. And we're getting ready for that debate here at 9 News. And no surprise to the candidates, one of our first questions to them is going to be whether Donald Trump, now being a convicted felon, shakes their support of him. I would be astonished if any of the 6 candidates up here, most prominently Lauren Boebert, who's been endorsed by Donald Trump, has any less faith in him now than they did this morning. But we're going to have that conversation, along with conversations about the best path forward for Colorado Republicans to win. This allegiance to Donald Trump has come at a price. The party is at its lowest level of statewide power since before World War II. Trump remains incredibly unpopular here, but tonight's CD4 debate at 6 p.m. on 9 News is for the safest Republican seat in our congressional delegation. The winner of this primary is almost certainly likely to win the general election in November. And the question is, how closely do they intend to tie themselves to Donald Trump and his policies?
We're going to all tune in, and we know you're going to get working with Marshall right now. Sorry, missing my head right there. We'll talk to you in a minute, Kyle. Thanks.